In a major controversy that is already setting social media on fire, Ghana has officially confirmed that it has become the latest African country to receive deportees and the US President Donald Trump's much hyped and deeply polarizing immigration crackdown. President John Dramani Mahama revealed that Ghana had agreed to take in West African nationals deported from the United States, with the first batch of 14 arrivals, including several Nigerians and one Gambian, already landing in Accra. Just like that, Ghana has suddenly been thrust into the center of a global storm over Trump's new immigration strategy, and many Pan-Africans are left asking, why Ghana? Why now? And what does this really mean for Africa? Mahama, speaking at a press encounter on Wednesday, September 10, 2025, said the United States had approached Ghana with a request to serve as a receiving country for West Africans being deported under Trump's policy. According to him, Ghana agreed because ECOWAS protocols allow free movement of citizens within the bloc, meaning West Africans don't need visas to enter or stay in Ghana for at least 90 days. He explained that rejecting the deportees wasn't an option if Ghana wanted to stand by its regional commitments. But here's the kicker. While the Nigerians who arrived in this first batch were quickly facilitated back home by bus, and the Gambian was still waiting for assistance to return, the fact that they first landed in Ghana has sparked intense debate. Is Ghana simply upholding ECOWAS law, or is it unknowingly opening itself up as a convenient dumping ground for America's immigration headaches? President Mahama tried to reassure the press that Ghana was acting responsibly, saying it would only accept deportees who were West African nationals and not people from other regions of the world. Yet, his comments left many wondering. How far is Ghana willing to go in accommodating Trump's demands? If today it's Nigerians and Gambians arriving in Accra, what happens tomorrow if the US decides to reroute Venezuelans, Jamaicans, or even South Asians into West African soil? Are African countries prepared for the slippery slope this could create? Trump's new deportation strategy is nothing if not controversial. Beyond the traditional immigration raids inside US cities and the flights of deportees back to their countries of origin, Trump has introduced a radical idea: sending deportees to third countries, often places they've never lived in before. Imagine being a migrant of Latin American origin, or even from Asia, and suddenly finding yourself on a plane not back to your homeland, but to a random African state because of a US deal. That's exactly the kind of nightmare scenario critics say is already unfolding. Rights groups have blasted the approach, arguing that it violates basic human rights, exposes migrants to potential danger, and raises huge questions about international law. And yet, Trump seems determined to push this forward. Just last month, 7 deportees were flown to Rwanda, while earlier batches saw 5 sent to Eswatini and 8 others dropped in South Sudan. Now, Ghana has joined the list of cooperating countries, while other nations, most notably Nigeria, have resisted. Nigeria's foreign minister has openly declared that his country will not bow to pressure to accept third-party deportees, particularly when some were rumored to include Venezuelans and even prisoners. This resistance has only amplified the question: why are some African states saying yes, while others are saying absolutely no? The political undertones are impossible to ignore. Analysts have pointed out that Washington has recently hiked tariffs on Ghanaian goods and restricted visas issued to Ghanaians, a tightening of relations that Mahama himself acknowledged. Could it be that Ghana's willingness to take deportees as part of a larger transactional game with the United States? With Trump's well-known deal-making style, many are beginning to suspect that he's using deportees as bargaining chips, testing which African countries are pliable and which ones stand firm. Could deportee acceptance today translate into trade deals, security cooperation, or aid packages tomorrow? And if so, is it really about immigration or about America reshaping its leverage over Africa? The optics doesn't look good for Africa. Critics argue that by accepting deportees under these terms, countries risk being branded as the West's dumping grounds, where unwanted populations are unfolded without proper consultation or consent from local citizens. Others counter that African governments already under immense economic and political pressure have little choice but to play along if it helps them and avoid punitive tariffs or visa restrictions. But does that really serve African interests in the long run, or does it simply reinforce the old cycle of dependency where African nations bend under foreign pressure instead of setting their own terms? Ghana's case is particularly sensitive because of its reputation as a stable, democratic, and forward-looking country in the region. By agreeing to host deportees, even temporarily, Accra has put itself in the uncomfortable position of being both a good regional neighbor under ECOWAS rules and a potential pawn in Trump's broader immigration chess game. Could this tarnish Ghana's image as a Pan-African leader? Or could it, in a strange way, give Ghana more bargaining power on the international stage? For Pan-African audiences, the bigger question remains: should more African countries follow Ghana's lead and accept deportees from the US, or should they resist like Nigeria? On one hand, solidarity within ECOWAS and broader African unity suggests that helping fellow Africans return safely is a moral responsibility. No one wants to see West African nationals stranded in limbo, shuffled between hostile borders or languishing in US detention centers. On the other hand, agreeing to Trump's terms could set a dangerous precedent where Africa becomes the go-to destination for America's deportation policies, even for people who have no ties to the continent. It's a classic dilemma: pragmatism versus principle. Accepting deportees might win short-term favor with Washington and secure some economic breathing room, but rejecting them might protect Africa's dignity and independence. Which path better serves the continent in the long run? What is clear is that Trump is not backing down. His crackdown has already changed the face of global migration, and African countries are now being forced to decide where they stand. Will they quietly play along, hoping for some crumbs from Washington's table, or will they push back and demand a migration policy rooted in fairness, dignity, and mutual respect? As for Ghana, the arrival of these 14 deportees may only be the beginning. More batches could follow, more pressure could mount, and more uncomfortable questions could arise. For now, President Mahama insists that Ghana is simply honoring its ECOWAS obligations. But in the court of public opinion, many Africans see something deeper, a reminder that Africa must be careful not to repeat old mistakes of being used by global powers without securing clear benefits in return. Your perspective matters. What do you make of Ghana receiving a first batch of 14 deportees under Trump's illegal immigration crackdown? Share your thoughts and insights in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the New Africa channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our informative future videos. Stay informed, stay engaged, and thank you for watching.